to Talking with Titans with our two fabulous guests, Martyn and Mark. I'm co-hosting this session with Sean Prunty, and we'll kick it straight off with going into a little bit of an introduction that we'll start with Mark on.
Elite track cyclist for Ireland, have been for the last 5 or 6 years. Sort of got into the sport through my family. My dad was an Olympian in 1984, and then my brother was a professional cyclist, so I was never going to go and kick a football. We have a bit of a family business with bike shop and stuff. I've just sort of grew up through the sport. Martyn's now my coach, and Martyn used to race with my brother. When I realised that's sort of what I want to do, the same thing. So here we are.
My name's Martyn Irvine, ex-elite track cyclist, I would say. I did road cycling as well, but currently I'm the kind of a track coach for the Irish team and coach Mark. So I've been through the ringer, from years gone by when it was a very small team, and it was very much if you wanted to do it, you had to go and find it, and then it kind of grew up nice, and then we've a bit of a track squad established now, and we're kind of fighting above our weight, so it's good to be involved in the Irish track team still.
You mentioned your brother and your dad and everything, so I'm probably right in saying that was obviously, I suppose, an inspiration to you in terms of starting your career, or am I? Maybe Martyn was your inspiration, I don't know.
Yeah, my brother was sort of at that level, and sort of I went to see him as a kid growing up, and then I sort of thought that was sort of what I wanted to do, and yeah, Martyn obviously was the guy on the track, and he was sort of the first guy to sort of do that and pave the way that way. So I sort of done the two sports, like road and track cycling, and then I sort of just came to a crossroad a few years ago where I sort of had to decide which one I wanted to concentrate on more, and at the end of the track there was a ticket maybe to the Olympic Games, so I went for that, and we had the ticket now, so who knows what can happen maybe next year.
Fingers crossed. Back to yourself then, Martyn. In terms of your career and what got you started, what was the inspiration?
It was through my job then I got into cycling. It was just car mechanic. Guys like cycling. I picked it up, kind of went mad at it then after that. It wasn't bred into me, so it just happened to be I was good at it, and then there's a weird satisfaction, I suppose, when you kind of feel endorphins or whatever it is, you feel good after cycling, and it just snowballed really fast for me then. So I went from doing no cycling to I think I was 18 or 19 to being in Belgium in 21. I think I left my job and everything, just went mad over to Europe then, and it kind of I still say I hate cycling. I've been quoted to say this a lot. But it's the competition side I like maybe more so than the lifestyle is maybe what I struggled with more so than anything. But the buzz of competing was something I really got a kick out of. I
actually read an article where I think it was taking up cycling when you were 19 years of age, and you retired when you were about 30 or thereabouts. But in between that period of time, you were so successful as a cyclist. But to start, I suppose what's possibly relatively late within the sport. Was it just the drive that made you continue to do that, or was there people actually pushing you to tell you that you had the ability to become a top class cyclist?
Honestly, early doors it was probably the opposite. People telling you the opposite of what you wanted to hear. They were telling you to wise up, go get a job, But there was, I don't know. I think I suppose cycling was booming then. Generally worldwide, it was kind of creeping up, and there was possibilities then. I didn't know, obviously, starting out, but track cycling in Ireland is very small because we don't have a velodrome, obviously. So the road is the natural starting point. So you start on the road, and then you can kind of split discipline if you want, track, road, mountain bike, or something like that. So what drove me on was just wanting to win a race. Let me tell you, because say I started cycling at 19, I didn't really win anything until I was 26. Right up at a good level. That's what my sort of timeline so.
Wow.
You either have to be really dumb or really confident that you're going to get something out of it in the long run. Because I remember there was this T junction in my career. It was after London Olympics. Kind of did just enough to get into London, big ambitions and all that sort of thing. This was right, if I don't get in out of this season, I'm off. And then I won 2 medals at that race. It was 2013. For the next year or two, I was pretty good at what I did then. So, but it was literally all or none driven me on, and then when I got something out of it, it was just snowball. It was great. It's
great that you actually did get the successes, because I'm sure there's plenty of athletes that made the call and then look back and think, God, what could have been. We have to talk about the highs and the lows and how you overcame those setbacks to ultimately have the achievements that you have. So tell us a little bit about that.
I suppose I was in my early career, I was pretty bulletproof. I bounced off the road, crashed a lot, and got good success out of it. Kind of no real lows. It was just constantly low. You know what I mean? The bar was low. It wasn't I suppose that gives you resilience when you're kind of always chipping away. It kind of toughens your skin a bit. You're always looking for the positive side. So you build this sort of filter that's just looks for the bright side. And then you get good at that. And then when I broke through and won my first medals, so like the first time I ever did anything was that World Cup in 2013. And then 6 months was it? I won this thing here. This World Jersey, right? That was within 6 months. I went back and perform at world level, won that thing. And 4 weeks later, I crashed in Tour of Taiwan and broke my hip. Literally top of my game to bottom of the game in 4 weeks. I missed most of that season trying to get back. I was super motivated to recover. Did everything. Like I was in a swimming pool paddling around like a 2-year-old after a month or two. I was just mad keen to get back. And then going into that next season, and I think I won a world's medal the next year. So within 12 months, I was back to the world level again. I ended up just spending my time managing my injury. I was trying to find a few nuggets of genius to how to handle the highs and lows, but world level sport, there's way more lows than there is highs. So you really get good at managing that. And only the lucky few, I suppose, can get world success.
For every athlete, the worst thing to happen, it would be an injury. And Mark, you'd probably be able to sort of shed some light on this as well, because you're racing, this is your career. A lot of what you do depends on like whether it be prize money or whatever. And if you're out for a period of time, that's going to possibly have a negative impact on, say, prize money, or whether other people start coming into the fray then. So would the support structures back then have been very strong for you, or would you have had to deal with sort of, a lot of the stuff by yourself?
Early career, it was kind of like everyone. It was club level, your local club to help you out. I think Cycling Ulster would help me out then, but I was lucky enough to be on that curve when cycling was doing well. And before it all happened, I was winning medals. So there was like, geez, we'll help this guy. So Cycling Ireland had a structure starting to form around the track program. Like there was only 2 or 3 athletes back then. Sport Northern Ireland in the Institute in the North, they were trying to help local athletes out. And then Irish Institute of Sport was there. And so there was loads of help for me. So when I that's probably one of the reasons why I bounced back so quick, was because I had the Sports Institute. I could call them and they could give me the right advice, because there's so much conflicting advice. If you Google anything, that you wouldn't sleep. So they would give me an actual answer what to do and how to do it. And for sure, without that support from Sport Ireland and Sport Northern Ireland back then, it was like that probably took twice as long to recover. So there was definitely, I was lucky enough to be at the top when it went downhill, so I got the help I needed.
And Martyn, is the key takeaway, don't Google your symptoms?
I wouldn't. I just get my leg chopped off if someone said it was in Taiwan.
Don't do it. So tell us a little bit about, I suppose, your career highs and lows to date as well. And obviously you're at, I suppose, a great time in your career, in the sense that next year is going to be a really big year for you. Fingers crossed it all goes ahead. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I was really lucky then that, I think it was 2015. I don't really know what happened, but I had one of the best winters ever. I won 3 World Cups in a row. I don't really know how I done that. I think it was just, I was doing the simple things right, and I kept the head down really good. So it kind of pushed me along and sort of pushed me up the ladder quite quickly. For a few years there, then we started the Olympic qualifying then in 2016, and the sport sort of stepped up a level again. And the first sort of year round, I didn't really make the cut. We just didn't have enough time. Didn't feel like I was at that level just yet. Yeah, as a program, we sort of kept plugging away and seeing where we could get better in different things. It sort of took me till last year to really find my feet. First year of the qualifying for the Olympics, and winning a medal in the world. So I got 3rd. So that was obviously probably the highest moment for sure in the career. So that really gave me a lot of confidence. We had a real stinker of a first year qualifying for the Olympics. I crashed a couple of times. We just didn't race well. The program took a load of change, different coaches, different staffs. We sort of entered last year knowing what we needed to do and just sort of going with a concise plan to every race, and all we needed to do was execute that plan. And if we'd done that, we could qualify. And thankfully, just the last post, I don't know how we scored a penalty.
Miracles.
Or meant to be, maybe.